Swift my soul to answer him, be jubilant at my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Our God is marching on, marching on, marching on, marching on.
Good evening. It's a great joy to greet you on this splendid occasion. Let me begin by welcoming the very special guests who join us this evening. The Most Reverend Desmond Tutu, the moral voice of South Africa, with whom we have the opportunity to honor again this Sunday when he joins the George Washington University academic family at the university commencement. Her Excellency Sheila Sisulu, Ambassador of the Republic of South Africa, and a fighter on behalf of human rights. On his way here, arriving imminently, the Honorable Anthony A. Williams, Mayor of the District of Columbia, who brings fresh vision and leadership to our city and who has delighted us by agreeing to be the speaker at the George Washington University Law School commencement on May 30th. Mr. Michael Court, a devoted educator and the headmaster of St. Barnabas College. And last but surely not least, the very Reverend John W. Wimberly, Jr., the pastor of our neighbor, Western Presbyterian Church. This event came from a gleam in the eye of Reverend Wimberly, who came to see me last summer to talk about it. I was pleased to be able to participate in the planning of this occasion, to lend university support by donating the use of LIsner Auditorium for the concert, and to ask some of my first-rate university personnel to do what they could to make it a success. I want to thank them all. My university colleagues and I were pleased to participate in making this happen because ultimately this concert speaks to the relationships that have been created not just between St. Barnabas College and the George Washington University, but among a wide circle of friends and colleagues that includes Archbishop Tutu, Western Presbyterian Church, and the entire city of Washington. I like to think that this university, George Washington University, has been instrumental in fostering these relationships, and we are grateful for the opportunity. Again, welcome to what promises to be an extraordinary evening. And now, to coin a phrase, on with the show. Thank you all very much.
Salí pa' Semana Santa, abril del 82, aún llevo el olor a incienso, a mi pueblo y su dolor. Aún llevo el olor a incienso, a mi pueblo y su dolor. Deprisa, sin un adiós, sin planta un pantalón, pensando volver muy pronto a mi pueblo El Salvador. Pensando volver muy pronto a mi pueblo El Salvador. Ay, qué bonita es mi tierra, te lo digo, compañero. Ay, qué bonita es mi tierra, que lo sepa mundo entero. Ay, qué bonita es mi tierra, te lo digo, compañero. Ay, qué bonita es mi tierra, que lo sepa mundo entero. No puedo vivir aquí, no puedo vivir allá. Señores, ¿cuándo tendremos un poquitito de paz? Señores, ¿cuándo tendremos un poquitito de paz? Hoy vivo aquí en la Manfresa, frente a un palo de coñón, para no morirme soñando, cantemos esta canción. Para no morirme soñando, cantemos esta canción. No human beings sin liga, te lo digo, compañero. No human beings sin liga, que lo sepa mundo entero. No human beings sin liga, te lo digo, compañero. No human beings sin liga, que lo sepa mundo entero. un poquitito de pan. Hoy vivo aquí en la Manpresa, frente a un palo de coñón, para no morirme soñando, cantemos esta canción. Para no morirme soñando, cantemos esta canción. No que una mini liga, te lo digo, compañero. No que una mini liga, que lo sepa uno entero. No que una mini liga, te lo digo, compañero. No que una mini liga, que lo sepa uno entero. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
We are marching in the light of God.
things and changed, haven't it, since slavery? These youngsters are so bright and so hip. One of my grandchildren said they want to be an astronaut. I said, no, take it from an old man. We black folks already got in trouble on one of them trips. Well, them children, can you? And then you hear people walking around talking about what's wrong with our young folks. You. I'm 67 years old. All these old folks just make me mad, ridiculing the young folk. What's wrong with the young folk? Nothing wrong with them. You know, there's some old folks talking about, well, when we was youngsters, we didn't have no child abuse hotline. We didn't have none, but had we had one, I'd have called it on my mama 1,000 times. And then what really knocked me out, talking about, well, you know, I just don't understand today's children. When we was their age, we didn't have to lock no doors. You didn't have nothing. We didn't lock our door neither, but that white grocery store across the street locked down every night. Matter of fact, I know some black folks now lock their doors, they don't need to. I got a cousin in St. Louis put 27 locks on his door. He ain't got nothing in the house. I said, man, you wasting your time. Somebody broke in your house, they would leave something. Look, the house he lived in is so small, he stuck the key in the door one day and stabbed 12 people. And they was in the backyard. He got this old raggedy, nasty car. If you rode in it, you need a tetanus shot. He thinks somebody want to steal it. So about 2 months ago, he went out and bought him one of them clubs. I called my sister tonight. She said 2 nights ago, somebody stole the club and left the car. Oh yeah, this thing is moving fast. I was at the Super Bowl. Stevie Wonder was the halftime entertainment, and he and I was working on a project we hadn't finished, so I'm going down to Super Bowl. And I really don't care that much about football, but I was down there, and let me tell you now, Super Bowl, white folks spend $600 million over that whole weekend, and they be serious. 3 days before the Super Bowl, they were lined up with their tickets, waiting for the gate to open. I was in Stevie's room just looking through the binoculars. I said, Stevie, I wish you could see this. It's about 20,000 white folks lined up waiting 3 days before. Second day, I looked, it was more. Just standing in line, behaving themselves, just waiting. The third day, 10,000 more. I'm looking, I said, Stevie, these white folks are crazy. I said, this what's wrong? I said, oh my God. I thought they was crazy. This brother, it looked like he's gonna walk up to the front. I couldn't bear it. Oh, he was cool, had a suit on. White folks had, they was in Miami. They had those shorts on, some barefooted, This brother clean, head up to the front. Big burly white dude grabbed him and threw him down. Brother got up, he was cool, brushed himself out, went right back up to the front. About 12 white folk grabbed him, knocked him down, tore his shirt. Brother got up, wiped his lip. I said, you white folks better be cool if y'all want to get in there. I'm the nigga with the key. Oh, that thing didn't change. Yes, sir. And also take care of your bodies. That's very important. America's the richest, wealthiest, more education than anybody else, and the sickest nation on the planet. Because we don't drink enough water. We don't eat enough fruit. Walk. You got to get up and walk in the morning. Walk. I know. You black people gonna come tell me what you're doing. Hey, I heard you, but I got a bad leg. Walk bad. Yeah. Walk the same way you do when you be buying them lottery tickets, huh? See, what I love about the human psychic, you can do anything you inspire to do. just inside of you. There's a universal force. I mean, you prove that every time you go to the shopping center. There are 30,000 cars parking for cars, and it's always full, except the handicap. And you know they're not coming. But you better not park there. They got handicap parking everywhere. Church handicap parking, police station handicap parking, hospital handicap parking. You go to visit somebody in an apartment complex, handicap. They got handicap parking everywhere except the liquor store. They say, you want this bottle of Jack Daniels? You get out that chair and you come on in here. You need some help? I'll get some whiskey on my own. Take care of your body, especially you black folks. I mean, you realize black folks in America is less than 12% of America's population, and as you sit there right now, 87% of everybody in America on kidney dialysis machines is black folks. I mean, take care of your body. Last 4th of July, me and Bert Lee, we in Chicago. Bert said, let's go out to the lake where the folks are. We go out there, hear this young black dude, like 22 years old. I mean, drunk out of his mind, on that old cheap wine. He there asleep, mouth open, flies going in and out of his mouth, cocaine dust on his nose, reef in his beard. I walk up, wake him up, give him an apple. He said, is it organic? So you drink 8-ounce glasses of water every day. I mean that's what the body's put together on. And you walk, you use 30% more muscles walking than running. Take care of your body, all of you. And then, you see, I have a little youngster say, well, why do you always tell people take care of your body? I say, so you won't get old. One way I'm not supposed to know how old you are. I'm supposed to know how old you are by knowing how wide you are and how strong you are. So the youngster said, well, how do you know when you're getting old? See, I make my grandchildren, I got 5 of them, I make them call me cuz. Because old folks and gave grandpa a bad name, right? Yeah. So my granddaughter said, hey, cuz, how do you know when you're getting old? I said, anytime someone walk up and compliment your beautiful alligator shoes and you barefooted. Anytime the doctor tell you need an x-ray and they just hold you up to the light. Right. Anytime your wife or husband say, come on upstairs, let's have sex, you yell back, you know I can just do one or the other. So take care of your body. And just, let me just say thank you all for being here. And Brother Tutu, the love, the kindness, the gentleness. You know, I grew up with the cowboys and John Wayne, my hero, and then all at once I looked over there at South Africa, and I see Nelson Mandela and Bishop Tutu, and a whole lots of folks just said, well, let's do it different. And then right after that, I found out that a beautiful butterfly can fly all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, can fly all the way across the Pacific Ocean, but the bald eagle can't make that trip. And we would like to believe with the American mentality of he-men that anything is beautiful as a butterfly and as fragile as a butterfly have to be weak. And so to my brother Tutu and that whole movement over there, you really taught us that you can be beautiful and strong. And I love you. Thank you. Down here
Down here below, it's not so easy just to be. Sometimes I'm really all at sea. You made me when the world was new and skies were blue. And I am here because there's you. They say I'll never see your face, and we're all banished from your grace. The one you fashioned with says I can. Just to know that you will go where I must go. For you will send me this, I know. Living here, down here below. Living here, down here below. Down here.
We realized that it would probably be impossible to raise the money without some focal point. And so we went to the Archbishop in Cape Town and we asked him if he would be willing to be that focal point. And in a tremendous act of generosity, he said, absolutely. And I think he also said, as long as we have fun. And we have certainly been doing that this evening. The second key person was to find a place to do it, because obviously one is trying to control expenses so that the maximum amount of money can go to the school. And so I went to President Trachtenberg, as he said, and asked him about it. And he, again, responded very generously, as he's done so often in his career here. And I think it's rooted in his own commitment to making educational opportunities available to people who otherwise couldn't have them. He's done that with an extensive program of scholarships here in the District of Columbia, and this is another one reaching across the sea to help kids in Johannesburg who couldn't have an education. The third thing that I needed was somebody who knew something about how to do this. And luckily, that person appeared very quickly. Actually, I met her while I was waiting for then candidate, now Mayor Williams, to come to a gathering here in Foggy Bottom, and I started talking with Kathy Ehrman. And she has been the person who has secured our entertainment. She's done the program. She's done it all. There always has to be somebody who is the glue and is doing all the things and making sure that they all get done. And Kathy has done that in ways that have just been amazing and deserves a big hand of applause. I'd also like to thank the people here at the LIsner Auditorium, the special events people, Rosanna and Eric, Lynn and Jill. They have been very generous. I'd like to thank the good people of Western Presbyterian Church and my wife and my daughter and son for their support and their patience with my anxiety over this event over the past year. One thing I'd close with before I make a couple of comments about the school to introduce the video is that we have some gifts, about 1,000 packages that the kids of St. Barnabas made for you. They have been locked in customs in New York City for the past 6 or 7 days, and we have been frantically trying to get them out, and they are out. Now they're locked in gridlock somewhere on the Beltway, but they're almost here. I mean, there was a certain irony. You think of all the things that get into this country illegally, and all we've got is these little gifts from kids, and we can't get them to you. But supposedly, they're going to be here. St. Barnabas College is built on a site in Johannesburg that previously was a site where waste materials from mining were placed. We would call it probably a landfill. It was a piece of property that nobody wanted. And I think that is incredibly appropriate, because the administration and the students of St. Barnabas have used that land that no one wanted to educate kids that no one wanted. Since 1963, St. Barnabas has courageously and relentlessly cared for and affirmed and educated low-income kids, kids who were told that they were worth less. St. Barnabas has told them that they're priceless. Today, the graduates of St. Barnabas are found everywhere one looks in South Africa, serving as teachers and as physicians, as clergy and politicians. They function like yeast, helping a new South Africa rise to its intended destiny. They are leaders in the transformation of South Africa that has inspired so many of us, turning that great nation into a brilliant symbol of liberation and freedom for all the world. When apartheid ended, the struggle for justice clearly did not. It has just entered a new phase. People who chained themselves to the South African embassy to protest apartheid need to think differently today. We have to chain ourselves to more mundane tasks, fundraising, lobbying in the halls of Congress, things like that may not get the attention of newspapers and media. It's not glamorous work. However, it's absolutely essential work. Tonight signals the beginning of a new effort to ensure that St. Barnabas College will be a forceful fountain of leadership in the 21st century, and we invite your continuing participation. May we be as persistent in our support of St. Barnabas as they have been persistent in support of the children they educate. Thank you.
Our students are part of the scene in South Africa. They appear in all walks of life. You will even find St. Barnabas graduates in the United States holding important positions in the professions. And the school indeed has a mission into the 21st century. It is a mission to continue its outreach into distant communities that have not really been touched by change in the country. It's a mission which helps us to develop the skills of teachers who work in under-resourced and difficult circumstances. And it's a mission for us at the same time to seek out young people who have the capability and the potential to become future leaders, strategic thinkers, participants in the difficult process of growth in South Africa. And so we are grateful to all of you for being here this evening, for the support that has been given to us in so many different ways, by the artists, by the university itself, by the Western Presbyterian Church, and of course by all of you who have come here to support this tribute to our friend, our father, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. We hope indeed that you will be able to take some mementos of this evening away with you, if the truck succeeds in making its tortuous way through the beltways of Washington. We hope that we will be able to give you mementos which have been carefully made by our students and which we hope will remind you of a stimulating, exhilarating, and wonderful evening which I've enjoyed and which I see everybody else has enjoyed. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for the support that you have given to St. Barnabas College. And please remember that our efforts and the efforts of many like us in South Africa require ongoing support so that the dreams which we dreamt in the apartheid era and which we dream now of a new and transformed country can be brought to fruition. Thank you very much indeed.
When he was born in 1931 in Johannesburg, he was not a very healthy baby. He was actually quite sickly. This made his parents, I think, pray through his name, because most names in Africa have a meaning. And his name, his middle name, which is Mpilo, means both life and health. And this was a desire of his parents that their son be healthy and have a good life. At the end, he would prefer to be called just the teacher or just the pastor, despite everything that he has achieved. I would like to say he is, in fact, the healer. He went right back. He has helped to heal a whole nation. He has been a teacher, not only in the classroom, but he's been a teacher to South Africans, and I'd like to believe to many people in the world, about forgiveness and reconciliation. I have the great pleasure to invite to the podium the healer, the teacher, and the fisher of men, Desmond Tutu.
Thank you very, very much. What a fabulous evening. Tremendous, tremendous stuff. Thank you very, very much, all of you, for your very great kindness in coming out and being here. Our ambassador has said, well, you know, sometimes there is this person you think does not need to be introduced. We were flying out of Atlanta one day when we got to the security checkpoint, and one of the security officers recognized me, and she was gushing, "Oh, Archbishop Tutu, Archbishop Tutu." And then she called a younger colleague, "Please come here." And the young colleague came somewhat nonchalantly, and the older security person said, "This is Archbishop Tutu." Blank stare. You mean you don't know Archbishop Tutu? Blank stare. And as we were walking away, we could hear this younger person say, "He must have been long before my time." Thank you very much. There was the old South Africa. And sometimes one misses the old South Africa because they had some wonderful stories. They had some delicious Tutu stories. One of which was about how when the Archbishop died, he reckoned, well, you know, he has to go to heaven. And when I got to heaven, St. Peter said, "You have to go to the other place, the warmer place." And so I repaired to the warmer place. A few weeks later, there was frenzied knocking on the pearly gates, and St. Peter opened the pearly gates, and there on the threshold was old Nick himself. And St. Peter said, "What are you doing here?" And the devil said, "Well, you send Archbishop Tutu down there, he's causing so much trouble. I've come to ask for political asylum." It is a dispensation that is past. But perhaps it is important that we don't forget too easily. You know that South Africa that was characterized by repression and exclusion, where the vast majority of that land had hardly any meaningful participation in the running of the country in any significant way. They talked about us. They discussed us. They legislated for us. They knew what was good for us. They never really talked with us. They never really consulted us. We had no franchise. You come to think of it, that Nelson Mandela had to wait until he was 76 years of age before voting for the very first time in the land of his birth. An 18-year-old white person, and latterly Indian and colored as well, an 18-year-old could vote. And here I was, an Archbishop, a Nobel laureate, and in the land of my birth, I had no franchise. We had to wait until 1994. I was 63 years of age then. Wonderful, wonderful country. They used to have signs. We were called natives with a capital N. And they sometimes had road signs that said, "Drive carefully. Natives cross here." And somebody changed that so that it read somewhat hair-raisingly, "Drive carefully. Natives very cross here." It was the sort of time where, at election time, they could do this crude thing of showing a picture of an unkempt, untidy black, and they would go around and say, "Would you like your daughter to marry this man?" Intent on stampeding whites into voting for them. Because blacks soon had a retort whenever they heard about someone saying, would you like your daughter to marry this black man? They would say, "Show us your daughter first." But here, in fact, was a disaster waiting to happen. We were in what you say here is being in a real pickle. Somebody once told the story of the man who had to make his first parachute jump, and he was told, "You don't worry, you jump. The parachute has got a toggle on the left. You pull on the toggle, and the parachute opens. Voila, and you are okay." In the unlikely event of the parachute not opening, don't worry. There's a toggle on the right. Pull on that toggle, and everything will be okay. The man made his jump. Pulled on the toggle on the left. Nothing happened. And he was hurtling to the ground. Pulled on the toggle on the right. Nothing happened. And as he was about to hit the ground, somebody shot past him going in the opposite direction. The guy in the parachute said, "Help! Do you know anything about parachutes?" And the one over there said, no. Do you know anything about pressure cookers? we were in real trouble. And then the world watched with awe. For we won a spectacular victory over the ghastliness of apartheid. Everybody had predicted that we were going to have been overwhelmed by the most awful bloodbath. It didn't happen. And you know why? We won this victory because of people like yourselves, those who supported us so extraordinarily, so passionately, people getting arrested on our behalf, people going on demonstrations and rallies. We came around and said, please help us. And you gave us the help that we asked for. And today, South Africa is a democratic country. Today, Nelson Mandela is out of jail. Today, a country that was being broken by being alienated, with its population being torn apart, is seeking to come together, is seeking to be healed. And what an incredible privilege to be able to come back to those places where you had sought help, to say to the people, we asked for the help, you gave the help, and we have achieved our goal. On behalf of millions and millions and millions of our people, we'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If I may say so, that is actually a lousy applause for people who have accomplished such an extraordinary job of work. I think you ought to do what they used to say, really a humdinger. How about a real humdinger of an applause? That's better, that's better, that's better. Thank you very, very much. Because in many ways, I would wish to be able to open my heart. I'd wish to be able to bring the very, very many people back home to a place such as this one, so that you would be able to see what is almost infallible, something that you can't put into words. Because you see, when you have never been unfree, I don't actually know that you really understand what it means to be free. You don't know what it is. It is like falling in love. It is like yesterday you were unfree and you looked at the sun, you looked at the trees, you looked at the birds and the clouds and the grass and the people. And then today you are free and you look at the same. Hey, was the sky ever bluer? Just look at those flowers. Have you ever seen anything so pretty? The air is like, I've never breathed air like this before. And human beings, have they ever been so wonderful? That freedom gives you eyes to see things with a new kind of intensity. The grass is green. It was green yesterday. But today, I am free. It's not the same color. It's a new kind of green. There's a new quality about it all. You helped us to get there. You helped us to be able to walk tall. You made us be able to say, hey, we are indeed made for something other than this. That we're made for transcendence. We're made as those who have to soar the heights. We've been made to walk down here, and we belong in the stars. We reach out to the stars. That is what you have accomplished. The world has been enriched by what you did. For the world didn't know that there was an incredible guy called Nelson Mandela, who walks out of jail 27 years of incarceration. He walks out and everybody is expecting that he'll be spitting anger and resentment and hatred and retribution. And here he becomes an icon of reconciliation. He's incredible in his magnanimity. He can invite his jailer so that his jailer is a VIP guest at his inauguration. He can invite to lunch the guy who was the prosecutor who sent him to jail for life. And this guy had wanted the death sentence. And the world looks on, and says, hey, we were impoverished. In the action of making us free, you have received the gift of this incredible man who goes round the world now because people say they want to say goodbye. And have you noticed a world that many times we speak of as cynical, as hard-nosed, a world that doesn't know anything about the wonderful values. It's not true. It's not true. The world recognizes goodness, and the world thrills at goodness. And all of us are saying, what an incredible thing it is to be alive at a time when there is a Nelson Mandela. I'm proud to be a human being. But that is what you did. That is what you did. And thank you. You've been fantastic. Well, you say this is a tribute to me. No, I want to say to you, really it is a tribute to all South Africans. And especially the little people sitting in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and hearing someone say, we abducted him, we gave him late coffee, we shot him in the head. and we burned his body. And as his body was burning, because it takes 6-7 hours, we were having a barbecue. And you are overwhelmed by the depth of depravity of which you and I are capable. And then you hear someone say, you know, I was a victim of a hand grenade attack. I spent several months in intensive care unit. I had open heart surgery. When I returned home, my children bathed me. My children fed me. My children clothed me. And this woman says, of an experience that has left her in this condition, she says, it has enriched my life. And she says, I can't walk through the security checkpoint at an airport because I've still got shrapnel in me. And she says, I'd like to meet the perpetrator. I'd like to meet him in a spirit of forgiveness. I'd like to be able to forgive him, which is in itself quite wonderful. And I hope he forgives me. And you see, we really are an incredible people. But it is a tribute to people who, for many, many decades, were treated as if they were nothing. They were there, they were not there really. The anonymous, voiceless ones. They've been incredible. And as I've said, listening, I realized too that we wouldn't have got our freedom had it not been for the women. And I'm not trying to be politically correct. The women have been fantastic. No wonder our president, when he came out, if you notice, our ambassador in Washington is a woman. Our high commissioner in London is a woman. Our ambassador in Paris is a woman. Our ambassador in Bonn, Berlin is a woman. Our ambassador in Switzerland is a woman. Our ambassador in Austria is a woman. It is to pay a very, very warm tribute to our mothers and our sisters and our daughters because they have just been fantastic. I sometimes tell people, my wife, we were driving one day, and then she showed me, she didn't want to be gloating, but she showed me a bumper sticker which said, any woman who wants to be equal to a man has no ambition. I would want to say a very big thank you. Thank you very much, John Wimberley. Thank you for having put this together. Thank you, President Trachtenberg and the university for your wonderful generosity in letting us be able to use the facilities of your university and allowing some of your staff persons to assist. We're most grateful. Why are you not clapping? Thank you to the Washington Men's Camerata. Thank you, Los de Mount Pleasant. Thank you to those gorgeous children, the band Murch and Horace Mann Children's Choir. Dick Gregory. I wish I had his figure. The Abbey Lincoln Quartet. And the two beautiful people over there who have been doing their sign language. Thank you, all of you really, for being so wonderful. And may I perhaps, sort of in anticipation, say thank you to the mayor for the keys that I'm going to get. I gather they open I believe they open the treasury. Thank you, Your Excellency Sheila Sisulu. Michael Cork has been quite remarkable in the work that he has done at St. Barnabas, but not just at St. Barnabas, because he's involved in the whole business of education at home, which needs a heck of a lot of doing. And I think he deserves a very warm hand as well. You've helped us to get here, which is to be free, to get rid of apartheid. That's probably, in a way, maybe the easier part of the task. We are now entering a very demanding part of it, which is to deal with the horrendous legacy of apartheid. You've been fantastic in your support. I used to be called Mr. Disinvestment because I went around asking for sanctions. I want to change that name now. I'd like to be called Mr. Investment. You'll be able to tell your children, I helped to get Nelson Mandela out of jail. I helped South Africa to become a democracy. Now I say, invest in a child, invest in the future. Be able to say, I also helped the children of South Africa realize that they were precious, that they were made to reach for the stars. And you will be able to say, I helped to do that. Thank you.
As mayor of our nation's capital, occasionally I get the chance to greet and welcome important diplomats, business people, and world leaders. But it's a unique day in the District of Columbia, a day when we pay tribute to a man who has, through the strength of his convictions and the power of his teachings, changed this country and our world for the better. Who would have thought 20 years ago that we would see the psychological, political, and cultural walls of apartheid torn down? And who would have thought 20 years ago that Nelson Mandela, a free man, would be serving as president of South Africa? It's because of people like Archbishop Tutu that we are here today witnessing such a remarkable expression of democracy. When in frustration others have turned to violence, the Archbishop has always looked for a way to resolve differences and problems nonviolently. He's lifted his voice for the dignity of all people, becoming an unrelenting force for love, unity, and justice. And on this day, let us rededicate ourselves to bringing this sense of unity and togetherness to every neighborhood in our city and putting an end to violence. And let us also honor his work by living up to our own obligations to our youngest and most vulnerable citizens, our children. And so when I reflect on my day-to-day duties in the office of the mayor of this great city, I'm humbled to know that no matter how daunting our challenges seem, no matter how much we yearn for full representative democracy in our city, our occasional sparks of discontent and frustration pale in comparison to the fires of brutality and oppression that have been extinguished by folks like Archbishop Tutu in South Africa. And as we continue to work toward a day when our nation's capital will become democracy's heart instead of democracy's exception, let us draw strength from the example and teaching of Archbishop Tutu. Because of the personal magnetism, sterling character, and ebullient energy of people like Archbishop Tutu, I have great hope for our city and our world. Archbishop Tutu, on behalf of the District of Columbia and its people, I would like to express our profound gratitude and appreciation for your extraordinary life and contributions by awarding you our highest honor. This is the first time I've done this, and I've got to tell you that these are the keys to our city, they're the keys to our community. I'd like to say they're the keys to our treasury, but we've had a big tax cut, so there's no more money. But this is our highest honor, and I can think of no one more fitting to bestow it upon than you. God bless you, sir.